Sam monitored the starfish people's progress from the control room. Slowly but constantly, cat-sized, pill-bug-like creatures traveled back and forth from their ship and onto the station. With each transit, the creatures pull off the honeycomb structure and moved it over. The hallway and 3 rooms already had life support reactivated. The starfish people were busy themselves, rolling back and forth down the hall. They had secured a red line in an upper corner of the halls they frequented. Every trip they hauled over storage spheres. The arched ceiling of their hall was cluttered with black hanging orbs. The largest of the newly active rooms was modified so the floor could hold a pool length of water, a foot deep. There, the transplanted star clams had already taken hold. He watched while eating a green squishy, as a cluster were throwing pellets into the pool. Sam opened the door to the control room and was greeted by 3 green squishies swaying in unison in a corner. He walked down the hall, and they followed. It had been happening the last few days, and he had gotten used to it. Considered them snacks that deliver themselves. He made it down the corridor to the room at the end. At the door, a dozen of the squishies had gathered. He opened the door and ducked in, holding his nose. Several tried to follow, and he kicked them out. The door shut behind him, giving him some much-needed privacy. He jumped as he opened the door. A cluster of starfish people stood staring at him. They leaned and looked around him into the room. "What is in there?" "Makeshift bathroom. The container is getting pretty full. I advise from going in there." "What will you do when it is full?" Sam stared at them for a moment. "I will jettison it, as I have been." They all twitched, and a light ran down a red cord in the corner. "We want." "You want my poop?" "Nutrients. We put in with organism. Breaks waste apart. Used to feed squishy. Used to squishy to feed clams." "Yes, you can have it." They twitched. "Thank you for nutrient waste." "You're welcome." Sam smiled and walked away back toward the control room. Behind him, the cluster got busy in the bathroom. Several squishies ran inside with them. Upon reaching the control room, Orbit appeared. "Situation, sir." "Situation?" "Yes. We have been boarded." "What?" Sam looked at the camera feeds. Several stick-bug creatures carrying weapon-like devices were walking down the entry gantry. "Damn it, Orbit! Tell me sooner!" Sam ran down the hall to his room and grabbed the fragger. He bolted down the continuing corridor toward the gantry. 3 stick-bug creatures stood waiting. The yellow Stickian hologram appeared. "Halt, human," the hologram said, as the 3 raised the hollowed sticks at him. Sam stopped. "This place was abandoned. We merely sought refuge." "It is ours." The hologram spoke for them as the one in front spun its arms. "It is not yours. You weren't using it, and haven't for a long time. We needed it. 99.9%. The creatures lowered their weapons. "We talk." "All right. I have a room we can go to. Do you mind if the other species joins us?" "If they do not cause problems, they are welcome. They need to be present as well." Sam led them down the hall to the lunchroom he had prepared for the starfish people. Orbit had notified them, and they already had a cluster waiting at the far end of the table. A sphere was on the table. They spoke as he and the 3 Stickians entered the room. "We have food. You eat while talk?" One of the persons opened the sphere to reveal a meal of clams. Sam sat in his chair. He reached in and pulled out a clam. "Thanks, SFP." The 3 Stickians sat slowly, their eye stalks each focused on a different target. One motioned with its arms. The hologram spoke. "We do not know if this food is compatible with us." Sam, mouth full, motioned with the clamshell. "They breathe, you breathe." He looked at the starfish people. "Am I right?" They twitched and replied, "Correct. Clams are food for you. You can eat safe." One of the Stickians waved 3 arms around. "I'm famished. I missed breakfast this morning." It reached in and pulled out a clam. It squeezed as it had seen Sam do, and began eating. The apparent leader of the 3 waved its arms. "This is not your place. You all should go home to your planets." Sam nodded. "I agree, but I am stranded here. Do you have any way to get me home?" "We are not responsible for you." The hologram translated. "You should go home. SFP and I are both stranded here. Neither of us have a way home. Where should we go?" You're the only one here with a working ship. The one eating waved its arms while using one hand to grab another clam. The other two Stygians reached in and pulled a clam out. The leader, with its mouth full of clam, was waving a response. We talked with your AI. Your homes are too far upstream. They cannot be reached. Upstream? The current brought you here. It waved as it grabbed for another clam. Do you not know of the current? No. The engines we used are still new. We were the first trial ship to use them outside of testing. You jumped into the stream. It pulled you here. It pulls many broken here. It is why Station was first built. Before we perfected the engines, many of ours would end up here. Do many other species end up here as we have? Countless, the Stygian replied. Then why is the station abandoned? The Stygians all paused eating. The hologram repeated. We perfected our engines. You don't care about them, Sam said softly. Sam thought for a moment while they each grabbed another clam. You aren't using this station. We can fix it and offer assistance to those who are stranded. Can you agree to that? The three Stygians looked at one another. The leader motioned his arms to them. It looked back at Sam. 99%. We will agree on one condition. You said that before. What is the 99%? 99.9999% of the universe is lethal to life. The 0.0001% is sacred. This station is sacred. That is why it was left with air. I can agree to that. And the condition? It waved its arms. We require 3 totes of these clams. Sam looked at the persons across the table. Do you have that many clams to spare? The starfish people twitched. We can harvest that many and survive. We'll have to eat more squishies, less clam for time. Do you agree to this? Sam asked them. Yes. Life space. 0.0001% is valuable to us. We will trade. Then we have a deal. Sam smiled and ate another clam. Sam waved as the Stygians carried their totes up the gantry. One used its free hand and waved back. The yellow Stygian hologram beside him spoke. We thank you for the clams. Sam walked the hallway. The starfish people had finished moving their honeycomb hard material from their ship onto the station. They had sealed over 70% of the breached rooms. Sam caught his breath and picked up the jog again. The entirety of the circular corridor around the station was sealed and hardened. With not much to do, he figured he would get back into shape. The soft cushioned floor was nice to run barefoot on. Orbit had told him the loop was 3 kilometers total. He passed by a grouping of squishies, swaying under a bright recessed light. He paused and picked one up. With a quick slap on the wall, it went limp. He leaned on the wall and took a bite. He ate it slowly, getting his breath. He turned the corner and walked down toward the water reclamation module. He cupped his hands as it squirted pure water out. He washed his face and then drank. The excess dropped off his hands and mouth into the fog on the floor. Sam walked down the hall, past the control room, and into the section containing the clam farms. SFP had created 5 other large rooms dedicated to clamming. He watched them feed squirming squishies into the pellet machine. Once a half-sphere was filled with pellets, the cluster walked it over to Clam Pond and began casting the pellets into the pool. One of the cluster walked over to him, one of its tendril-laden appendages keeping contact with the red cordage in the corner. Greetings, Sam. Hey, SFP, how are the clams doing? We have 3 ponds ready for harvest. Our food supply is adequate. Sam kept watching as the clams ventilated, sucking in food. What was your homeworld like? The person twitched and lights flickered through the cordage. Old memories. We remember heat, water rare. Wars fought over ponds like this one. Clusters divided rather than together. Sand, great quantities of sand. A desert then? Yes. No. Your word desert is not adequate. Our world was larger, heavier. Human could not walk there. We roll. Sand entire world, water under sand. Heat everywhere, nutrients scarce, life space protected. A big desert. Correct. High gravity too? Correct. Gravity higher than present station setting. How did you escape the gravity well? We built strong structures using our creatures. We protected our creatures. We protected our clams. The bugs you keep outside. Yes, bugs make our houses. Houses are strong even in gravity. What kind of engine did you use to propel something so heavy into space? No, we were found. Others saw our houses, saw our buildings. We were taken. Oh, you were uplifted. No, uplifted positive. We were captured, kept as creatures. Species that took us was messy. Ships covered filth and debris. We clean. Their ships we strengthened. Our structures became ship armor. Their filth became nutrients. With SFP they became healthier. Their ships able to withstand more. What happened to your world? Our world is not our world. We were taken. We grew to space. World ate by supernova millennia ago. You say this is a memory? Yes, we all share same memories together, one cluster. Do you miss your world? No. Our world was war. Our ponds were small. No life space. Here we have life space. My world had a lot of life space. Lots of creatures and ecosystems. Deserts, oceans, mountains, jungles. Sam stopped talking as the starfish person walked away. I miss it, he said under his breath. Sam woke up in his quarters, his feet hanging off the end of the bed. He stretched and got up. Across the hall, he opened up the last bag of Cheerios and ate it dry. The milk having run out several weeks back, the SFP had reformed a room into a toilet stall. The walls were the hard honeycomb material, as was the toilet itself. The walls of the toilet fed a constant small stream of water into a hole. Sam sat and did his business. When he was done, he walked across the hall to a shower they had installed. As he entered the room, a stream of warm water flowed. He washed off using a makeshift scrubby composed of shredded food packaging. Orbit appeared beside him in the shower. Sir, there is a ship approaching. Sam jumped. Did you hail them? He said and stepped out of the shower. He started putting on his underwear. Yes, sir. It is a vessel of one of the stick bug creatures. They are requesting clams. Tell them to dock. I will greet them at the entrance gantry. Sam went back to his room and put on his suit. Fully clothed with Fragger at his side, he went to meet the visitors. 20 Stickians entered as the entry door opened. The one in the front, he recognized the brown blotches as the leader from the last visit. Welcome! It waved its arms. The hologram reappeared. Hello, human. Family wishes to eat. Give us clams. No. No? You do not have clams? We do, but we're not giving them to you. The leader waved 2 of its arms at the people behind him. We want them. I understand, but we cannot give them to you. But we may be able to barter. We understand now. What is it you wish from us? You know the way to the lunchroom. I will go talk to the starfish people, and we will come up with something. Sam walked into the lunchroom with a cluster rolling just behind him. The Stickians were already gathered around the table, their eye stalks and mandibles twitching. Several smaller Stickians were seated on the knees of larger ones. Sam approached the table. The SFP unclustered, revealing 3 spheres. The Stickians began shaking and waving their arms. Yes! We have been excitedly waiting to eat clams again. The starfish people request nutrients for their farms. Does your ship store your bathroom waste? The leader of the Stickians paused his hands, then resumed moving them. You wish for our excretions? Yes, that what they want. They will trade 2 spheres for your waste supply. I approve of that. We have a hold full they can have. The SFP opened 2 spheres and set them on the table. The Stickians began their feast, popping them open and chittering them into their serrated mouths with the exception of their leader. What about the 3rd ball? They have given it to me to barter for what I need. What is it you need? It waved. I would like tools for the empty machine shop. Do you have any machining tools aboard? The leader focused its stalks at a member of its tribe across the table. The Stickian waved its green hands at him. The leader looked back at Sam and flicked its hands. Yes, we have redundancy sets of tools. We will give you a set for clams. What comes in a set? The green-handed one communicated. Welder, torch, press, lathe, forge, all hand tools that we use to metalwork. That what you want? Sam nodded to the starfish people. They handed over the 3rd sphere. Majority of the Stickians returned to their ship. The leader and the green-handed one remained. Human, you are a good bargainer. The leader waved. Thank you, Sam said. Do either of you have names? The two waved and shook. The leader answered, "Yes, this Thinwalk, our engineer. I am Skywatcher, leader of this troop." "Nice to meet you, Thinwalk." Sam held out his hand. The two aliens looked at one another, then to the hand. Sam reached and shook Thinwalk's hand claw gently. "Nice to meet you as well, Skywatcher." Sam then shook his claw. "Mind settling debts?" Skywatcher waved 3 arms and bobbed his eyes. The hologram spoke for them. "Yes, you gave us good meal. Worth it and more. Thinwalk will go get tools and deliver them to the station's machine shop. I will have others start the tank emptying automation. Thank you both. This will help us out here." "We owe you thanks. We will return. I will tell brothers and their troops." Sam thought for a moment. "Is there a common currency used for bartering?" The two Stygians bobbed and shook their eye stalks. "They laugh at you," the hologram said. "Why is a formal currency funny?" "We do not wish to mate with you, human. You are disgusting." The two bobbed and kept shaking their eyes as they left down the gantry. Sam watched from the control room as an umbilicus from the triangular Stygian ship attached to a port on the station. He watched another feed showing SFP twitching as a thick black fluid poured into a holding tank. A third feed showed Thinwalk and 2 others dropping off crates of tools in the empty machine shop. Orbit appeared beside him. "Good dealing, sir." "Shit and tools," he said, feet propped up on the console.